Imran Khan, he used to give it a lot of importance because it's something very close to his heart. So thank you, Sarah, for continuing this struggle. And now that we are in the hem of affairs, I think our responsibility is even more. And I also agree with Senator Babar that there's been criminal negligence by every successive government, and he's been very gracious about it because his party was in the government for 3 times, and then the other party's been in government for as many times, and somehow we've never really heard anything on this as far as manifestos, agendas, speeches is concerned. So leave aside doing anything about it. But the couple of things that I'd like to tell you in this is that I think leave aside as a government, I think as a society, our paradigm is that if anybody's in jail, he's dead. And that stigma that he's jailed is enough for us to dismiss him, degrade him, and completely feel that he's less than human. So that stigma and that image remains in our mind, and that's why it never comes in our priorities. And I have come across in my own family these instances which you were talking about. I had a cousin, and he went abroad, and for whatever, we don't even know whether it was a crime or not, but he was jailed, and this was in Saudi Arabia. And I remember the agony of my aunt. For 15 years, she could not even find out what he was jailed for. She became a neurotic psycho patient who would hallucinate about her son coming back. And she was shunned by the society because she was supposed to be mad. And the socio-cultural impact it has, the separation anxiety it causes, the psychological dehumanization it brings about is so deep and far-rooted and goes on for generations that it is impossible to even imagine what a person goes through. And even being a first cousin, we could not do anything about it. So I think as a government, I'll first of all commend the report. I think we need to work together very well. I still remember, Sarah, we were in government, I think not even a month old, and you approached me to approach Dr. Shirin Mazari on Iranian prisoners. At that time, everybody was congratulating us on coming in the government, and the Iranian foreign minister was coming in to congratulate the Prime Minister. And as usual, Sarah sent a message that, okay, so can you talk about the Pakistani prisoners in Iran? And so I said yes, and I talked to Shirin Mazari about it, and she sent me a delighted message that, guess what, Shirin Mazari has asked us for details, and she's actually talked to them about it. So again, her passion and her inspiration for us. I'd like to mention 2-3 things that the government has done in its 8 months. It's minimal. I think we need to do much more, and we need to do it collectively. But some of the things that we've already done, as you mentioned about the recruitment, sub-agents, these are the ones who are the big looters, big money into it. And sub-agents are illegal. But nobody has taken an action on them in the previous governments. All sub-agent contracts by our government have been cancelled. So completely cancelled. And that has happened the first time. Second part, what we've done is that in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we've said, okay, fine, guys, you want to come in as contractors, it has to be digitalized. So that NADRA data, so that we can trace them down. Anybody who wants to be sent abroad through the Ministry of Overseas Pakistanis and Ministry of Foreign Affairs will have to have a printing of identity, will have to be digitalized, give their information so that they can be traced forever. So that's something that we've done, and we will be further strengthening it based on your recommendations as well. Another thing that we have sort of started off is, of course, that everything starts from the top. So whenever I'm working with the Prime Minister's visit, because I'm in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Foreign Minister's visit, in the agenda of talks, let me tell you very clearly, in the top 3 priorities in the agenda of communication and strategic dialogue, not operational dialogue, comes in Pakistani prisoners over there. And example of that, yes, you mentioned Saudi Arabia, and Senator Babar very rightly pointed out that only 200 have arrived. There are 3,000 to come back. There are some logistical considerations also, because even if we ask PIA to do nothing else but to bring them back, it would not be possible to do that in the next 6 months. They come in lots. Obviously, there is logistics involved, cost involved, laws involved, but let me assure you that they will come back. That's my, news for you. Second thing which I'd like to inform you is about Iran, because the Prime Minister was in Iran yesterday and day before yesterday, and Dr. Shirin Mazari was also there. So Iran, we have about 189 prisoners over there on some very serious offences, some not so. But there are people who were drug peddlers from Pakistan. Previously, Iran used to have this law that drug peddlers were given death penalty. Recently, they've changed the law. So it's not death penalty, it's imprisonment. Now, Dr. Shirin Mazari, before she went, took the briefing from our wonderful project, Justice Project of Pakistan, on this whole thing. She has gone over there, negotiated with them, and 26 prisoners who were on death penalty, but now according to this law, they will have life imprisonment, are going to be coming back to Pakistan and serving their imprisonment over here.
I have no idea.
And the credit goes to all of you. And you see, prisoner exchange, I'm very glad that Senator Babar brought that up. Prisoner exchange is very important. And again, what has happened is that the prisoner exchange has been put into the back burner. I mean, I was surprised, and I haven't found out what has happened, that in 2016 or 17, we had a PTA, prisoners exchange agreement with UAE. And guess who cancelled it? Our government cancelled it. So I don't know why it happened, but we have to renew these agreements, and we have to go back to these agreements with many countries, Saudi Arabia especially, because we have about 11,000 prisoners all over in the world. Almost 60% of them are in Saudi Arabia. So that's a very big focus for us over there. So yes, I would not call this a very big achievement. I would call this a beginning. I would call this a start. But one thing that I can tell you is that if Sara's passion can inspire so many over here, I tell you, the Prime Minister's passion in this regard, and वो कहते हैं जिसके साथ बीती होती है उसको पता होता है, और शायद चूँकि in my own family I have seen a whole family being destroyed by indifference and criminal negligence at so many levels. I think I can give my personal commitment and my Prime Minister's commitment that this particular aspect, legally and otherwise, will be in the top agenda of our government. And I would like you to help us draw legislations which help you, and I would like you to advise us on how to make laws and also implementation, which Senator Babar very rightly pointed out, that even that is the responsibility of the government. We can't simply just say that I'm a parliamentarian and I made a law and it's lying somewhere in the cupboard or archives of the library, and if it hasn't been implemented, that's it. I think as parliamentarians, we do make the laws, but we need to work with the civil society and with the media to make sure that implementation of these laws can happen, because they are Pakistanis and they are human beings. And if you throw them abroad and treat them as not one of you, then you are not a Pakistani and you are not a human being. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have to say that was not the answer that I was expecting, and so I'm once again, very thankful and very surprised in a good way with the current government.
Justice Project Pakistan, I think we must appreciate the efforts that they've been doing so far. It was really thought-provoking session, I must say. I was coming directly from, Islamabad airport. I'm member of overseas, Senate Standing Committee for Overseas Pakistanis, and I'm also member of Pak Saudi Parliamentary Friendship Group. So obviously there are so many things we can do in this regard. Yes, true that we've been raising different issues regarding business, especially in Saudi Arabia and Middle East. And we have been submitting our suggestion and recommendation. I hope that government, as Anjali said, I really appreciate her views. Regardless of any, apart from of any, regardless of any political affiliations, we must appreciate government's policies wherever we see and can feel that they are up to something and they can bring about some positive changes in our system. And I also would like to endorse and second Senator Farrukh Baba's views, and especially when he said that and I know, I have seen the way he's been raising different issues. When he was talking about this Saudi man, disappeared, all of a sudden he disappeared, and there was, without any clue. And when we were discussing this thing, I was also in that meeting, and we tried to follow that matter, because I was also a member of Foreign Affairs Committee at that time, and we really missed Farrukh Baba Saab. So especially when he said that we need to work on a criminal justice system also. And there are so many, bills and amendments, especially if I look at his, efforts, the way he had been working on different legislations. That must be passed from Parliament, and we must, work on it. And it's not that, he's not part of Parliament, so this should be, listed. In our committee, we've been raising this prisoners issue again and again. And I think today I feel that, Mr. Zulfi Bukhari should have been here. Though I keep criticizing is, we agree to disagree. There are so many different aspects of this policy. But when he says, or when I can see the will and dil, or what this government intends to do, and I can feel that, they are serious about it, then we appreciate him. But most of the time, we always keep fighting and keep arguing whenever it comes to a committee. But it's matter of as I said that we are working this legislation. We have started working on it. But as Anjali said, that if MNAs or his government, they initiate, or if they start working on that particular legislation, we will support them, we will second them. So it's not that we always argue, we always disagree. It is something very important, and especially Mr. Mustafa, he talked about Azad visas, and we have discussed that particular issue in our committee. And I also would like to share that when he said strict checks on the so-called Azad visas, this is something which is very important. the first thing we need to do. And when I looked at this embassy officials rarely visit, it's been, discussed in a committee again and again, and we kept saying and, arguing that even in a foreign standing committee, that ambassadors or, officials, they rarely visit business, or they don't take up different issues. So I think time has come when, if government is serious, true that previous government, they neglected or they ignored this particular problem or issue or matter. But as far as chairman is concerned, I can say that now, especially he's chairman of the standing committee on human rights. So he's really very serious. He's very sensitive about all these issues, and I'm sure the way he's been, telling us and informing our party that he intends to do so many things in this regard. I believe that in near future we can see that People's Party would like to bring about many changes and will support this legislation. And again, I would like to second Mr. Faradullah Baba's views, and as Mustafa also said, that we must ratify international laws, such as Migration for Employment Convention 1949, and the International Convention on the Protection of the Rights of All Migrant Workers and Members of their Families. اور جو آج فیملیز آئی بھی ہوئی ہیں, our hearts really bleed like anything. ہم آپ کا درد سمجھتے ہیں, آپ کا دکھ سمجھتے ہیں, اور یہی وجہ ہے کہ ہم ان کمیٹیز میں ایسے ہی نہیں بیٹھے. بعض دفعہ جھگڑے بھی ہو جاتے ہیں آفیشلس کے ساتھ, دوسرے لوگوں کے ساتھ. ہم چاہتے ہیں جو سیٹ پہ بیٹھے ہیں اس کو ہم سجائے, سندھی میں کہتے سجائے ہو کریں. تو یہ چیزیں گورنمنٹ کا بھی سر درد ہونا چاہیے, لیکن اپوزیشن بھی آپ کے ان حقوق کا جو ہے وہ اس کی پاسداری کرے گی. اس چیز کو ہم اٹھائیں گے, چاہے مختلف ممالک میں وہ بزنس ہو, ان کی اموات کا مسئلہ ہو. ابھی بھی جو سعودی کے ساتھ بزنس کا معاملہ اٹھایا گیا ہے, پرائم منسٹر سے پہلے ہماری کمیٹی نے مسلسل اس کو اٹھایا تھا, اور بڑی جھڑپیں بھی ہوئی تھی کمیٹی میں, زلفی بخاری صاحب, لیکن پھر ہم ایک پیج پر بھی آ گئے تھے. تو ہم اگر گورنمنٹ اپوزیشن ساتھ مل کر کوئی چیز کرے گی تو میرے خیال میں نہیں سمجھتی کوئی لوپ ہول, کوئی گرے ایریا. obviously I mean there are so many things yet to be done. لیکن اگر میں نے جیسے کہا کہ اگر دل ہے اور ول ہے, وہ پولیٹیکل ول جو ہے اس ضروری ہوتی ہے. اور ابھی لیجسلیشن بھی کرنی ہے, لیکن we need to implement, get these policies implemented, جو ابھی تک ہیں ہمارے پاس, وہ ابھی تک جو امپلیمنٹیشن کے لیے جھانک رہی ہے, دیکھ رہی ہیں, ابھی تک کچھ نہیں ہوا ہے. تو آپ کی سنوائی وہ ایک طرح سے ہوئی ہے, that's why you are here. لیکن اس کو رزلٹ اورینٹڈ کس طرح بنائیں گے, اٹ ول ٹیک سم ٹائم. لیکن یہاں مختلف فورمس ہیں, پھر بھی ایگزیکٹو کا وہ درد یا اس کی آخری ذمہ داری بنتی ہے. لیکن جو پارلیمنٹ ہے وہ اپوزیشن, اور جس سینٹ میں ہم میجورٹی میں ہیں, ہم بات کرتے ہیں, دھڑلے سے بات کرتے ہیں, اپنا رائٹ سمجھتے ہیں, کانسٹیٹیوشن کا ہم حصہ ہیں. تو لیکن جو پالیسیز کی امپلیمنٹیشن ہے, اگر زلفی بخاری صاحب یا اندلیب کہتی ہیں کہ یہ چیزیں ہماری نظر میں ہیں, یا ہم سعودی فرینڈشپ گروپ کے بھی ہم میں ممبر ہوں, جس سے ہم یہ چیز آہستہ سے اٹھا رہے ہیں. میں آئی ایم آلسو چیئر پرسن آف اسٹینڈنگ کمیٹی فار پارلیمنٹری افیئرز. حالانکہ الیکشن کمیشن میرا ڈومین ہے, اس کو میں دیکھ رہی ہوں, ریویو کر رہی ہوں, یا جو ای ووٹنگ ہے, یہ ساری چیزیں بہت عرصے کے بعد یہ چیز اس طرح ہم ایکسرسائز میں جا رہے ہیں. لیکن وہاں بھی ہم کوشش کر رہے ہیں, ول ٹرائی ٹو ریز دیز تھنگس ان دیٹ کمیٹی آلسو, کہ جو ریلیونٹ ہیں, جو اس کو جڑی ہوئی ہیں. تو آپ حوصلہ مت ہاریں, جو یہاں بیٹھے ہوئے ہیں, ہم آپ کے ساتھ ہیں. آپ کی آواز سنی جا چکی ہے, اس میں تھوڑا سا ٹائم لگے گا. آخر میں وہ کہ جو وعدہ کیا گیا تھا سعودی کی طرف سے, آئی ہوپ دین اینڈ آئی ایم شیور دیٹ that will be done. But for that, again, I would say that our government, especially people like Andaleeb, I really appreciate, I keep reading her articles in different newspapers, and the way she, raises different issues, very pertinent, very important.
تو ہم ایکسپیکٹ کرتے ہیں کہ شیل کم اپ وتھ سم گڈ آئیڈیاز اینڈ ان نیئر فیوچر وی کین سی دا ریزلٹس. تھینک یو ویری مچ.
مشنس کے اندر لوگ بیٹھے ہوتے ہیں جو مطلب اگر آپ 189 پریزنٹس ایران کی بات کریں کیونکہ تھوڑا نمبر ہے, بڑا مشکل ہے کہ کاؤنسلر ایکسیس مان لینا, کیونکہ اسپیشلسٹ چاہیے آپ کو, ان کے لاس کو سمجھنے والے, پیسے دینے ہوتے ہیں وکیلوں کو, وہ سارا کچھ کرنا ہوتا ہے. اٹ بی ویری ہیلپ فل. آپ ضرور ہم سے شیئر کریں اینڈ ویل ٹیک آل دا گڈ تھنگز آؤٹ آف اٹ. اور جیسے سسی نے کہا, آپ لوگ جو ہیں ایک چیز آپ فکر نہ کریں, آپ کی فکر جو ہے وہ پرائم منسٹر کے دل میں ہے, اور وہ کبھی بھی, میں آپ کو, اور یہ آج کی بات نہیں ہے, وہ ہمیں مطلب جب سے میں ہوں تب سے ہی وہ یہ قصے سناتے ہیں کہ میں گیا, میں اوورسیز پاکستانی سے ملا اور مجھے بتا رہا تھا کہ جی میں اتنے سالوں سے اپنے بچوں سے نہیں ملا. تو وہ ان کے دل میں ہے اور پولیٹیکل ول ہے. ہاں ہمیں مدد کی ضرورت ہے, اپوزیشن کی بھی, ایسے لوگوں کی بھی جو ہمیں ہیلپ کریں ہماری پالیسیز کو بہتر بنانے کی, تاکہ آپ لوگوں کے دکھ درد میں مداوا ہو سکے. تو یہ ہماری آپ سے ایک پرومس ہے کہ اس پہ ضرور کام کریں.
صحیح بات ہے.
That it's not anymore just about government to government, it's also about the business community. And what we're finding, because we work with businesses, often quite large businesses, construction businesses, service industry businesses, investors, is they're asking more questions about where are your workers from? Have they paid recruitment fees? Are they being paid on time? What are their conditions like? And I do think there will come a time when increasingly large employers are going to be avoiding Pakistan if we don't get it right. So that's why I said before that there's the ethical, moral imperative. That's number one. As Pakistanis, that's what we really care about. But, this is a time when we have to be attracting greater foreign investment in the country. And a key part of it, I would argue, is looking at this side as well. The good thing is that with the ILO, with the IOM, with a number of industry-led initiatives, one of the biggest focuses at the moment is on responsible recruitment. The ILO is basically in the final process of defining responsible recruitment. That's, I think, going to provide some help in terms of understanding. And I would also be saying, looking at the industries where Pakistanis operate, so the construction sector in the UAE, the security sector around the world, bring them into the conversation. Because what that does is, it makes it not just a conversation about human rights and the ethical side, although that's important. It makes it about the business aspect to it. And what you see with places like the Philippines and a handful of countries which source a lot of low-wage workers is that the ones which have a relatively good system, those workers actually end up getting paid more in general. So in fact, it's a way of skilling up your workers because they're more aware of their rights, they're more in demand, and you become a much more attractive place. I'm not trying to sound like a businessman, but you look like a more attractive place to do business because your workers are being treated better. So I think those are the kinds of things. I do emphasize what I'm saying is not as much a matter of the heart as what the powerful things that my panelists have said. But as much as it's a huge challenge, I do see incredible opportunities there to really improve things.
The heart without the mind is useless.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. That was really helpful.
Hydrology was the subject. When the teacher will come, we will say 9 baje ka khabarnama ab shuru ho jayega. But Pakistan is a country which needs knowledge of hydrology so much. 9 baje ka khabarnama honte aajkal to khabrein bhi jo hai wo main attraction hai Pakistan mein. Hydrology is a subject for Pakistan which is the backbone of Pakistan. So when I graduated from UET in 1990, so many teachers advised, I topped my session, and many people advised me I should go into structures. Everyone who tops goes into structures. But I said I want to do hydrology. I said, pagal hai. Every good subject karne wala hai, to nalayak logon wala subject hai. So that's how it started. I just wanted to share ideas with you that this is a neglected subject, hydrology of Pakistan's water resources. And for that particular subject, there are so many things which need to be done for Pakistan. Riaz Saab is one of my inspirations, as he's a great person with as the Director General of Pakistan Meteorology Department. So in Pakistan, Meteorology Department is a wonderful department. We get people from mathematics, from physics, all those are very important people, and you will listen from them, and engineering. And the work they do is very novel for Pakistan. How do we forecast कहाँ से वेदर सिस्टम जनरेट होंगे, कितनी वो रेनफॉल होगी, कौन सी कैचमेंट पे होगी, किस वक्त होगी? अगर ये नॉलेज हमारे पास ना हो तो क्या होगा? वैसे ही ना, एक कमरा है जिसके अंदर अंधेरा है और हमारी आंखों पे पट्टियां बांध दी गई हैं और हम अंधों की तरह रास्ता तलाश कर रहे हैं. This is the knowledge which is vital for Pakistan if we have to make Pakistan a water secure country. So as I studied and as I learned, and I went through many organizations, including in Pakistan, in Australia and other places, it became more and more clear to me we must strengthen our knowledge of water resources of Pakistan. 2010 में जब फ्लड आए थे, they were the worst floods in the history of Pakistan. अहमद कमाल साहब आपने भी उनका जिक्र किया है. ते डंगर सारे लोग लुट के ले जाने ने. This is very, very sad. So that was the kind of environment. I was asked along with 6 other experts to come to Pakistan. जिस तरह अहमद कमाल साहब आपने बताया, उसमें जनरल साहब से भी हम मिले थे. And it was at the request of the President Zardari at that time and Mr. Kamal Majidullah, the advisor. They were advisor also to the water resources. And I must say they were very sincere. And he also started a transboundary organization. They were very sincere and they requested the United Nations system to help Pakistan. So we came here, we went to many organizations, we visited PMD, and we came up with an idea. और जिस तरह से रियाज साहब ने कहा है, उस वक्त लोगों ने कहा कि ये शायद आइडिया काम नहीं करेंगे, and this may not be the right kind of thing to do. But we were trying to bring to the attention कि यार कुछ तो काम कर लें ताकि हमारा कोई knowledge आगे जाए. So there were ideas कि हम उस तरह का मॉडल कर लें या उस तरह का मॉडल कर लें या ये कर लें. One of the important thing is we must go with those nations who are willing to help us. Japan was willing to help us, but at the same time, we should use their technology in the appropriate way so that we can update our system. So that is the background. Now, I will अपने presentation one by one. I will go next please. So Pakistan is a very, very big country, and these are those numbers which were highlighted. 20 million people get affected, and so many deaths, unfortunate, and so much area, but also very importantly, the economic loss was about $10 billion US. आपको पता है पाकिस्तान की इकोनॉमी का साइज कितना है? It's about $53 billion. If $10 billion get affected, it's huge. So it's a very, very big part of Pakistan's economy. And the cost of reconstruction was also very, very high. And one thing world says is we build back better. And if we have so many debts and so many other problems in Pakistan, we certainly cannot afford कि हर साल flood आए और हमें इस तरह से damages दे जाएं. We still have to build a dam, Ahmad Kamal Sahab, which is very important for Pakistan. But that is about 15 to 20 billion US dollars. Next please. So Pakistan का area आप लोग बेहतर जानते हैं. There is no foreigner here now, so I don't need to spend any time on this. The world has reached a level in terms of knowledge. Oh, there are a couple of foreigners. Okay, I will speak English then. Please forgive my Punjabi and Urdu. Okay, it's only for keeping people awake. So the knowledge is so advanced with Google Earth that many kind of satellite images have been merged and that kind of knowledge is available. But to the data which is to the level of detail to a sub-meter pixel is possible from specialized agencies as well, including our friendly countries like China. So those kind of data is available.
The Justice Project of Pakistan, Sara Bilal, her colleagues and partners in preparing yet another report relating to the human rights of an important section of Pakistani society. The Justice Project of Pakistan has, before launch of this project, also worked and prepared some very useful and important reports. I remember it has worked on death penalty in Pakistan. It has sensitized us to the issue of torture in police custody, in the custody of the law enforcing agencies. It has now sensitized us to the issue of the migrant workers of Pakistan in the Middle Eastern countries, and so on. Difficulties of the migrant workers on the one hand, and the apathy and indifference of the government of Pakistan, regardless of whichever government is in power. The apathy and indifference of the government of Pakistan, and I should also like to say almost the hostility of the host government. تو میں نے یہ اپنی آنکھوں سے دیکھا ہے, and I'll also narrate to you some incidents also. And my second perspective was as a member of the parliament. جب ہم نے سوالات اٹھائے, جب ہم نے اس ایشو کو پارلیمان کے اندر ایجیٹیٹ کیا, تو کیا جوابات سامنے آئے. Therefore, I think I'm relevant to the discussion today, and I really want to compliment and thank Sara Bilal for having invited me to this discussion. دیکھیے, یہ جو ہمارے مائیگرنٹ ورکرز ہیں, یہ ہمارا ایک قیمتی اثاثہ ہے. ہم کہتے تو ہیں کہ قیمتی اثاثہ ہے, لیکن اس پر ہم اس طرح سے عمل نہیں کرتے کہ یہ واقعی قیمتی اثاثہ ہیں. Apart from the fact that they generate foreign exchange for Pakistan, the much needed foreign exchange for Pakistan, انہوں نے پاکستان میں جو جابس کے اوپر جو پریشر ہے اس کو بھی ڈیفلیکٹ کر دیا ہے. جو پاورٹی ہے وہ بھی ایڈریس کر دیا ہے کسی حد تک. سو یہ ہمارا بڑا اہم سوسائٹی کا جز ہے, جنہوں نے پاورٹی ایلیویشن, فارن ایکسچینج, ریمیٹنسز اینڈ جاب کریشن, ان مسائل سے کافی حد تک انہوں نے they have helped resolve. But on the other hand, how we have treated them. مجھے یاد ہے کہ اسی جسٹس پروجیکٹ آف پاکستان کی اس سے پہلے ایک رپورٹ تھی, and that was about, the title was, if I recall correctly, Caught in the Web. And that was about how the Pakistani migrant workers in Saudi Arabia particularly have fallen on the wrong side of the law, and whereas they were actually the victims, they were treated as criminals, اور کوئی ان کا پرسان نہ تھا. میں سعودی عرب کی جیل کو وزٹ بھی کر چکا ہوں. میں نے سعودی عرب میں جو پاکستانی جیل میں تھے ان سے ملاقاتیں بھی کی ہیں, اور for a brief while, for a couple of hours, I also was locked up in Saudi jail. سو میرا پرسپیکٹو ذرا جو ہے وہ ایک یونیک پرسپیکٹو ہے. آپ نے, سارا بلال نے جو اپنی رپورٹ میں کیس سٹڈیز کا میتھڈالوجی آپ کی بالکل ٹھیک ہے کہ سنی سنائی باتیں نہیں ہیں, بلکہ ایکچوئل وکٹمز کو انٹرویو کیا ہے, سرکاری شعبوں کے افسران سے ملاقات کر کے انٹرویو کیا ہے, اوورسیز امپلائمنٹ کے جو بیوروز ہیں ان سے بات کی ہے. It's all authentic. Therefore, nobody can question that this is just hearsay. It is all authentic based on facts. آپ نے سعودی عرب کا اس میں ذکر کیا ہے. There is also another harrowing tale in Saudi Arabia جو مجھے پارلیمان میں آ کے پتہ لگا. کسی نے ہم کو ای میل بھیجا اور کہا کہ میرے والد کو وہ عمرے کے لیے گیا تھا اور وہ وہاں لاپتہ ہو گیا ہے. یہ بات ہے 2016 کی, ناٹ ویری لانگ ایگو. اور وہ شخص لینڈ کرتا ہے سعودی عرب میں 20 اگست کو, اینڈ ہی گوز ٹو دا ہوٹل, وہاں ہوتا ہے. نیکسٹ ڈے دیٹ پرسن ڈس اپیئرز. ہی از این اولڈ مین, وہ ڈس اپیئر ہو جاتا ہے. شکایت ہوتی ہے اس کی پاکستانی ایمبیسی سے, embassy reports to the Saudi government. Now what I am saying is exactly what has been revealed to us and is on the record of the parliamentary proceedings, so this is not a hearsay. پھر وہاں پہ ایک کمپنی کا جو کمپنیز کو لے کے گئی تھی انہوں نے پاکستانی ایمبیسی کو کہا کہ اس شخص کی گیٹ نمبر 20 پر مسجد نبوی کے باہر پولیس والے کے ساتھ کوئی آلٹرکیشن ہو گئی تھی اور پولیس والا اس کو لے کے گیا تھا، لیکن آج رات وہ واپس آ جائے گا. رات کو اس کو واپس لے آئے، ہوٹل میں آیا، اینڈ دا نیکسٹ ڈے ہی ڈسپیئرڈ. ہی واز ناٹ ٹریسیبل. ہم نے ایز ممبرز آف پارلیمنٹ اینڈ ممبرز آف دا فارن افیئرس کمیٹی ہم نے پوچھا کہ ہم کو بتایا جائے کہ کیا ہوا، ویئر از دا پرسن. تو جواب جو آتا تھا وہ یہ ہوتا تھا کہ سعودی عرب کی حکومت نے تمام اشتہارات بھی دے دیے ہیں، ہسپتالوں کو وزٹ کیا ہے اور مورگس کو وزٹ کیا ہے کہ ہاں ڈیڈ باڈیز ہوں، اور وہاں پر اس شخص کی کوئی معلومات نہیں ملی. however efforts are going on. ہم نے اس وقت وزیر خارجہ صاحب سرتاج عزیز صاحب تھے، ہم نے کہا جی کہ آپ ان سے پوچھیں کہ یہ جو اطلاع ہے کہ اس کی پولیس والے کے ساتھ آلٹرکیشن ہوئی تھی، دس شوڈ بی دا اسٹارٹنگ پوائنٹ. چنانچہ انہوں نے سعودی ایمبیسڈر کو خط لکھا. پہلے خط نہیں لکھا گیا کیونکہ کہا کہ وہ چھٹی پر ہے. جب اصرار کیا گیا کہ اگر وہ چھٹی پر ہے تو کوئی ان جگہ کام کر رہا ہوگا، خط لکھا گیا. اس کے جواب میں یہی آیا کہ ہم نے بڑی تلاش کی، وہ نہیں ملا. اینڈ وین وی ڈیمانڈیڈ کہ بھائی آپ اس پولیس والے سے پوچھیں جس کے ساتھ اس کی آلٹرکیشن ہوئی تھی، اٹ واز ناٹ ریسپونڈیڈ ٹو. It has still not been responded to. Till this day, the government of Pakistan wrote a formal letter to the Saudi authorities. کیونکہ ہم نے کہا کہ اگر starting point یہ ہو, and when we invited the police officials, انہوں نے volunteer کیا, Pakistani senior police official, that we can assist the Saudi authorities provided we are given permission. The parliamentary committee moved a resolution اور کہا کہ پاکستانی پولیس اتھارٹیز کو پرمیشن دینے کے لیے گورنمنٹ آف پاکستان should approach Saudi Arabia. It was also not given. The permission was not given. اور آج کے دن تک اس شخص کا پتہ نہیں ہے جو عمرے کے لیے گیا تھا اور جس کی شکایت اس کے بیٹے نے کی جو چارسندہ کا رہنے والا تھا، اور وہ اب بھی کبھی کبھی ہم کو لکھتا ہے although I am not in the Senate no longer, but that person is still not traceable. یہ پتہ نہیں چلتا کہ اسے آسمان اسے کھا گیا یا زمین نگل گئی. This is just one example of how the criminal justice system in the Middle Eastern countries and also in particular Saudi Arabia, how it operates. تو آپ نے سارا بڑا اچھا کیا کہ آپ نے اس موضوع پر یہ تحقیقات کی اور ہم سب کو آپ نے اس سے آگاہ کیا. اب ایشوز جو ہے مائیگرنٹ ورکرز کے، دے اسٹارٹ رائٹ فرام دا پوائنٹ جب ان کی یہاں سے ریکروٹمنٹ ہوتی ہے، جب یہاں سے جا کے مڈل ایسٹرن کنٹریز میں کام کرتے ہیں، وہاں پہ ورکنگ کنڈیشنز کیسے ہوتی ہیں، if they fall on the wrong side of the law ان کے ساتھ کیا ہوتا ہے، if they die in the course of duty what happens, how the dead bodies are repatriated, the host of issues. There's not one but a host of issues. And all that I think جس طرح سارا نے کہا کہ اس وقت کوئی کوآرڈینیشن نہیں ہے among the government departments, and because of lack of coordination یہ جو باتیں بھی آپ نے رپورٹ میں لکھی ساری درست ہیں. And every government in Pakistan, including my government, when our party was in the government, we always pay lip service. لیکن جس طرح اس رپورٹ میں ان تمام چیزوں کا احاطہ کیا گیا ہے، یہ اس سے پہلے کم از کم میری نظر سے ایسی رپورٹ نہیں گزری جس میں رائٹ فرام دی ٹائم آف ریکروٹمنٹ ٹو دا ٹریول to working in that country, coming across the problems and all these. یہ پہلی بار میں دیکھ رہا ہوں کہ ایک ایسی comprehensive report ہے. And this report must be very useful for the political parties to include the data in this report and the conclusions that it has drawn. It is important for the political parties to include this in their manifestos. اس وقت میجورٹی آف پولیٹیکل پارٹیز کے مینیفیسٹوز میں یہ ایشو راڈار پر نہیں ہے. تو جسٹس پروجیکٹ آف پاکستان نے اس ایشو کو راڈار پر لیا ہے. اینڈ آئی ایم ریئلی سو ڈیلائٹڈ اینڈ سو ہیپی اباؤٹ دس. کچھ ریکمنڈیشن رکھنا چاہتا ہوں آپ کے سامنے, اور ہو سکتا ہے کہ آپ ریکمنڈیشنز آپ کی رپورٹ میں بھی ہوں. جب ان کی ریکروٹمنٹ ہوتی ہے تو یہ جو اوورسیز امپلائمنٹ پروموٹرز ہیں یہ کام حوالے کر دیتے ہیں سب کانٹریکٹر کو, سب ایجنٹ کو. اینڈ ایٹ دا لیول آف دا سب ایجنٹ the irregularities start taking place. پاکستان کا قانون کہتا ہے سب ایجنٹ کی اجازت نہیں ہے, but it continues. The problem is not with the law. The problem is with the non-implementation of the law. In this particular case, جس طرح آپ نے دیکھا ہے کہ آپ کا قانون کہتا ہے 2013 کا کہ دہشت گرد تنظیمیں کسی اور نام کے ساتھ ابھر کے نہیں آ سکتی, but we know 2013 کے بعد بھی دہشت گرد تنظیمیں اور ناموں کے ساتھ آ کر کام کر رہی تھی. تو the issue in Pakistan is کہ laws are there, implementation of the laws. And here I would like to say that the parliament should not be blamed for this. The parliament should not be blamed because the parliament can only make laws. The parliamentarian cannot go and implement the law himself. It has to be done by the executive. اور اگر executive implement نہیں کرتا تو اس کی ذمہ داری پارلیمان پر نہیں ہے. ہاں اس پرٹیکولر کیس میں اگرچہ کچھ لاز ہیں جو امپلیمنٹ نہیں ہو رہے, لیکن اور بھی ایریاز ایسے ہیں کہ جس میں لاز بننے چاہیے. مثلا آپ دیکھیے کہ ہمارے پاس پاکستان میں اس طرح کا ڈیٹا بیس نہیں ہے کہ کتنے.
Honor to have you here. I also apologize that I'll be speaking in English to you, not Urdu, but very keen to talk to you about the issues that we've covered. Thank you also to Senator Babar for that very powerful speech. It's always an honor to share a platform with you, and I've grown up listening to you talking about the justice issues that will make Pakistan a better country. And thank you also to all the other distinguished guests and all of you who have come here today. To first talk about this important issue, I really want to reflect on a few personal notes. I am myself the product of migration. My family is from Pakistan. My father was a doctor on a Umrah ship that traveled to Saudi Arabia over a long period of time, and he eventually settled in a very different country with very little money in his hands. His story was not very different to the stories that we documented in our report. And if you think about yourselves, if you think about where you come from, whatever part of this country, whatever part of the world, whatever gender or identity or your way of living, there's one thing that we all share in common, and that is the thirst to better yourself, the thirst to have a better life for yourself and your family, to hopefully work hard and inshallah make something better for your children. And what we have documented in this report is really sadly only a small snapshot of what 10 people and what they reflect were trying to do, which all of us try to do. And in seeking a better life for themselves and their families, got trapped in a really vicious cycle of exploitation that sadly resulted in them being sentenced to death in Saudi Arabia. And of the 10 cases that we've documented, 8 of those people have already been executed. And that's a really key thing for us to really think about. We're talking about ordinary people, but though most of the cases that we've documented are of people who are of very humble origins, generally from outside the main cities of Pakistan, in fact their lives aren't very different to our own. It's also important to stress, and we tried to do this in our report, that whilst the problems are very grave, there are some very serious failings in terms of the labour migration system, that there are also chances to really reform this system. And as much as the problem is very significant, there are some very positive green shoots there. As Senator Barber mentioned, we have the current government that came to an agreement with the Saudi government to release 2,000 or so prisoners from Saudi Arabia. What this demonstrates is that with political will, things can change. And what I'd encourage and what we encourage through this report is to not just be taken down by the very sober cases that we have documented, but
And we have seen the Prime Minister really lead from the front and show the political will that's needed. I have to say, for us JPPers at home, watching that press conference, we came the closest to having a collective breakdown because it was only a dream that we could have as human rights defenders. That the highest office.
When those two life sentence prisoners were there, and I talked to my chairman at that time, we were in the opposition, and we all tweeted about it, we all requested the government. In the speeches that he made, he said what a justice system this is, that you put a prisoner for 20 years into this mess. And I completely agree with Senator Faratullah Babar that within our system also there is